As we continue our series in Pro Stitcher tabs and ribbons, we've already done the file and several of the other ones. Today I want to focus on the Edit tab. If we go to the Edit tab, you will see that we have a lot of options here that are not active. That's because we do not have a design open for us to do anything with. As we discussed in previous videos, the only icons that are actually dark gray or dark black are the ones that are actually an active action that you can take. If they are grayed out, that means there's nothing on your workspace that is valid with that command. Before we bring in a design, there's a few things I want to show you. So, what is this history tab? It's a lot of times on social media, I'll see people answer a question that they say, clear your history or go back into your history tab. It is the first icon under your edit tab. When I click history, this is a list of all of the things that you have done since you started your Pro Stitcher today or last time you cleared history. So if I go in here and I scroll back down through here, you can see that I've loaded designs, I've dragged and dropped, I've done various things. I've grouped designs, I've saved some things, I've closed workspaces, I've closed designs, I've closed areas. Here's everything that I've done, a complete history of it. Sometimes people will say, my machine has lost its mind, it's stitching all over the place, it's buffer overflow, all these weird things. And what I like to tell people is, don't let your history get too large. If it gets too large, it's just going to overwhelm and confuse Pro Stitcher. It is a computer. There's no real rhyme or reason as to why sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. But we have those things happen on our computers and our laptops as well. There are programmatic reasons why these things happen, but the less history you have in here, the better. So if I've had my machine on all day, I sometimes will just go in here and randomly clear my history. The history, however, is a good place to go and return you to a previous point in time, especially if you've already baselined. So if I were to go in here and I were to say resize area, it's going to bring me to that exact point in time. If you watch the file video, this will look familiar to you. I had this on my screen. I had 5 designs and I had an area. I pulled in the pink box of my area and I resized it. It took me to that exact point in time and restored my workspace to exactly what it represented at that time. So if you have baselined and you now need to make a change, say you've set up that edge to edge and you still have a little bit of gap in there, but you accidentally baselined, go to your history and find that moment before you baselined and restore to there, continue your editing and get it absolutely perfect and then baseline again. So history tab is very helpful. We have an undo tab. The undo tab will undo one command at a time everything that you've done in your history. So if I see on here, the last thing I've done was to click. So we can watch through here. I resized the area. That was the last thing. Now I'm going to come in here and it's going to continue to undo from that point in time. If the latest thing that I had was at the top, you would have seen it undoing from the top down. But I'm going to undo one command at a time. What if I get to the point that I say, wait a minute, I actually didn't mean to go back that far. I can use the redo. it's going to now walk me the other direction. So undo and redo will move you one step at a time from where you are in your history. I like to tell people that if you're going to use your history function, this undo and redo become your best friends as far as helping you incrementally walk through what's happening with your designs. So if we have our history, we have undo and redo. What is clear history? If I hit clear history, it's going to clear all of these commands and none of them are going to exist any longer. I hit clear history. It asks me, am I sure? It's just giving me an option to say no. But if I say yes, now history is grayed out. Undo and redo are grayed out. Remember, they're best friends. They work together with each other. And this is my new starting point in time. If I want to activate any of these other designs, I have to pretend like I am doing it for the first time. Come down here and I can select them. And now you can go in my history and you can see that I have created a group, the order that I've put, and now guess what? My undo button is now showing up. As soon as I hit undo, my redo button will show up because I can now go back up in the list. This undo will take me down in my list of history. Redo will bring me back up in my list of history. Okay, so we now know what the history, undo, and redo buttons do for us. What does cut and copy do? If I come in here and I'm going to select none of these, then I'm going to come in here and I'm only going to select and have active this middle block. As you can see here, it's the third in a series because on my right sidebar, it's the active one. I can come in here and I can cut just that design. And now it's gone. Now you can see I have no active design here. So I can't copy, I can't cut, I can't do anything but paste or clear everything or do a clear all. So if I were to come over here and I were to say paste, it's now going to paste that design exactly where my crosshairs were. If my crosshairs were over here, I'm going to undo that. So I have everything right here. I am going to come up here and I'm going to cut that group out. And I'm only going to activate one of my blocks. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut it. It's gone. And now I can paste it wherever I want based on where my crosshairs are. That will determine where I paste it. What is the difference between cut and copy? If I have this design active and I hit copy, it's going to now make a copy of it. No, this one remains, and I can come over here and I can paste it. And now I have a sixth one. So if I wanted a whole bunch of these all over my quilt, I could come in here and copy it and just paste that design in multiple places across my quilt top. Say I had large blocks that had no piecing in it, and this was going to be my focal point. I could go in there quickly and easily find the center of that block because they're all say this is a 6-inch block. I might size this to 5.5, 5 3/4 inches, and I can quickly, by knowing where the center of that block is, copy and paste this at the various locations across my quilt top. Don't have to define a bunch of areas, don't have to do anything fancy. Set this block up once, copy and paste, and off I go. Okay. What is duplicate? if I have this one block active and I come in and I hit duplicate, you will see that it has made another block. It's 102, but they're right on top of each other. So if I come in here and I have these two, I can move it, and I want you to see me moving it. Okay, you will see that I have the original one and I have the one that was active right over top of it, 102 here, and they're still both here. It's personal preference as to which one you use. Personally, I like copy and paste. I can put this one exactly where I want it. I have, and ask me why I feel that way, that's my personal preference. I have used the duplicate button and lost track of how many of I have, and then had one design stitch over itself twice. So learn from my mistakes. The next thing is clear all. But before I do clear all, I want to show you guys something. If I come in here and I select everything, if I come in here and I then select everything on my workspace, if I come in here now with all of the items selected and I say copy, and I come over here and I put my crosshairs over here and I say paste, it's copying everything that I had selected. So everything that was active has now been copied and pasted. So if I wanted to do only, let's undo that. And I'm using the undo button here. If I wanted to come in and say, I wanted to select this one, and this one, and those were the only three, this group. Now, if I were to say copy and paste, it's only going to paste 3. So again, I prefer copy and paste, but duplicate works the exact same way. So that leaves us with just clear all. And I'm sure you've guessed by now what that will do for you. Just like under the File tab where we had a clear all, I can come in here and click clear all, and it will quickly clean up my entire workspace and remove everything. Your navigation for your right sidebar has been very similar to under File. So hopefully, the more you work with this, the more you will get comfortable with reading the information on your right sidebar and knowing what it means. The left sidebar is highly customizable, and there is a video already out there. I'll link it in the description below that will show you how to customize your left sidebar and how to make these icons the ones that will suit your personal quilting needs best. I hope that helped.